Apparently, this is terrible animation. A lot of people are saying that this animation is so bad, they're dropping Fire Force. They're saying that Fire Force will never recover from this. People are even saying that the animation of this episode from Fire Force Season 3, Episode 6 is so bad that it is on par or maybe even worse than the beginning after the end's animation. I'm not joking, I have seen it. And it's not just, let's say, on Twitter. I've seen people in the comments section on YouTube talking like this. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, what? I want to keep it real, guys. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing the animation levels to the same degree as, like, the beginning after the end. I'm personally not. There is movement. If you have any form of movement in your show, then you're already doing a million times better than the beginning after the end. Just, I don't want to be cruel to the show, but it's the cold, harsh facts. And having that level of comparison of Fire Force to that alone is already a massive insult. And instantly when I see people saying stuff like that, I'm just like, they have to be trolling. It has to be trolling. There's no way individuals are legitimately believing that or think that. But however, there has definitely been a conversation that is around Fire Force Season 3 that I have noticed as of late, which has led to this video even happening to begin with. And it's more or less this is a catalyst, and I think it's very important to talk about. And that is the fact that Fire Force Season 3's animation hasn't necessarily been terrible, but it hasn't definitely been the best it ever has been. There has been some great moments, don't get me wrong. The entire cake scene of cooking on cake, literally a few episodes back, literally on top of the backside, was cinema. Straight cinema. If you know, you know. You know what I'm talking about. But what I'm trying to say is that yes, I will say, in terms of art and animation, Fire Force Season 3 has not been as good looking as maybe Season 1 and Season 2, but it is not so terrible that I think that this is just a massive downgrade that it destroys the show. In fact, I still think it looks relatively good. The only thing I could really say, which is this scene here in particular that a lot of people are talking about, is that this scene does feel unfinished. I will admit that. I'm not blind to how this scene feels very unfinished in nature, but it's nothing that a BD could not correct. I'm just gonna keep it real. But this gets into the main topic of, I guess, expectation and reality, and what people have come to really expect from anime, at least when it comes to shonen anime in the 2020s. So, I've briefly talked about this, but I never made a full-blown dedicated video to it, and I think now is really a good time to talk about that. I have definitely noticed an uptick in trend of overall expectations for animation, honestly, all stemming from the animation of Demon Slayer. I think that's kind of where it comes from. Obviously, there was conversation pieces around that prior to that, like, for instance, Unlimited Blade Works, but ever since Demon Slayer came out, and there was a lot of eyes all on that art and animation that Studio Photable made, everybody's expectations for animation and art was thinking that it had to be at that level to be successful. And obviously, when JJK came out, let's be blunt, it's incredible looking. Jujutsu Kaisen looks amazing. You can hate it, whatever, but you can't deny it. It looks incredible. And then the same is about Chainsaw Man, but that's more of a controversial topic, because people like to hate on the series because they like to hate on it. But basically, the art and animation from Studio Mappa, when it came to like JJK and Chainsaw Man and stuff, really went above and beyond. Broke the norm of what you would expect from a shonen anime series, or just anime in general. It reached movie-level qualities. Like, it is insane just how some, those episodes are animated. It's incredible. Even with production issues and stuff, the episodes that were churned out were something that literally just puts to shame most things that came out in the last decade. There's very few rare exceptions, but it's absolutely incredible. And I feel like people's expectations nowadays, at least for mainstream shonen, is so extremely high to when you get animation that is not even average, but even slightly above average, it is deemed a failure. It is deemed unsuccessful. It's deemed something that is just outright garbage. And I think that is legitimately sad to see. We're starting, I think, to see a bubble being busted with art and animation as of late in the anime industry, to where, like, I just don't think animators can really keep up. I don't think animators can keep up the level of quality that we have obviously seen demonstrated in these last few years, because it's not possible to have every single anime look as good as, let's say, Demon Slayer, JJK, or Chainsaw Man. It's not feasible. It isn't. And I'm not saying that, I wish that anime would stay subpar or average or whatever. I'm not saying that. But it's not feasible to have every single episode like that with how the current industry of anime works. It's not. And unless something fundamentally changes internally with production cycles and stuff, anime really is going to look kind of like this mostly. It's even a miracle anime can look as good as this nowadays. And I think it's very unsettling just seeing how many people's expectations are legitimately so high nowadays that this is deemed awful. I do want to go on record and say, I don't hate this episode. I think that it legitimately doesn't look bad. If I'm comparing it to what I literally watched yesterday, the beginning after the end, it's night and day. It's like comparing a Studio Ghibli film with just a PNG image. That's literally the comparison between the two. They're just so night and day, so different, that it's just like, Fire Force is looking like, something you would see in an art museum, so to speak. And so just seeing people even make the comparison with that just feels absolutely wild to me. But on top of that as well, I'm just like, people are really dropping the show because of this episode? I'm like, really? Like, really? No, I don't know, man. Like, people are spoiled nowadays, dude. They really are. Don't get me wrong. I understand why people want good art and animation. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying there isn't. But, oh my goodness. The reaction I have seen to this episode is insane. It is childish, honestly, to a degree. I mean, the criticism is valid. There is definitely some criticism. I think saying childish is too extreme, actually. I think that is way too extreme to say. I'll take back those words. I just think that it is way overblown and over-exaggerated because this isn't bad. It looks good. There's very few scenes that may look a little bit off, but overall, it's very consistent, and I like it. I don't know. Maybe I've just gotten used to slop and really bad stuff, and maybe my expectations have been lowered to such a massive degree, but I don't think this is bad. I don't see it. I don't see what people are saying. But, what do you think? Do you think that people's expectations for art animation is just so unrealistically high now that, people need to just, come back down to reality? Or do you think that legitimately Fire Force Season 3 is that badly animated? Please be honest in the comments. I'm not going to judge anyone for your personal opinion. Feel free to say whatever you want. Feel free to disagree with me. Nothing wrong with that. I encourage discussion. Please let me know in the comments below how you feel. But yeah, I love you guys. Be safe, stay healthy. Chibi out.